Are we live? Of course we are. People, Deluded, I'm back again. The first of 2 live bits of content from myself today. We're obviously here now for an hour or so. Then at 4 p.m. I'm going to have Kenny Ked. Now, it seems like the transfer news is heating up. It seems Arsenal have apparently lodged a bid for Norgaard. Big up to you lot, you have checked out the video I've previously done. Kepa's apparently going to be completed this week. We know about Zubimendi. And we live in hope where either Gyökeres and or Sesko are concerned. And we definitely live in hope where Rodrigo is concerned. Nonetheless, the content has the content. Big up you lot for being tuned in. We're here, CS, man. We're here, man. We're here. We're defo live. We're defo live. Big up the mods, man. CS, why are you not a mod? 1 second. Because you're always here. Let's do that. Let's do that. There you go. Should have it now, mate. I don't know if you got. I don't know how it works if you got to refresh the page, but you should have a spanner near your name now. And big up V and the rest of them. As Nathan's always here. Man said, "Well, God, CJ, come on, my guy. Abdullah, one love." I'm not shocked, to be honest. And after hearing him turn down everyone and say he wants the Arsenal move and him protesting for a move, I'm not fussed. If Liverpool come in, I don't think they can take him off us. You're talking about Gyökeres. Everything's on the table. Like, people can do the banter thing and Arsenal and yeah, we ain't won the title and this and that, and you don't know what's going to happen to Liverpool, but Liverpool could sell him an attractive project. They've just won the league. They're building stuff. There's quality players over there. We're trying to do that. We've got some good players we need to fix up. We could do that. It's fair game. I don't really know if Liverpool are in for Gyökeres because them links seem to have resurfaced as it looks like Napoli are trying to get Darwin Núñez, and just in general, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, all of these teams need strikers. So it's easy for the journalists to link them all with different names, link them with the same names, say there's a bidding war and all that kind of stuff and everything in between, man. Report from Italian DiMarzio: Arsenal signed Gyökeres due to the player's desperation and eagerness to join the Gunners. He has refused every offer and made the Gunners his first choice club. I hear that, Inspired Channel. You're another one that's here, and that's great because it seems like Gyökeres is begging to join us. But that's all reliant on is Arsenal Gyökeres is Gyökeres Arsenal's first choice? Because just because he's desperate and eager and all of that, are we showing the same rhetoric? Who knows, man? And yeah, we'll have to agree terms with Sporting. So we're really and truly, they're just remixing the same things and giving it to us. Arsenal signing a striker and left winger before pre-season tour. We live in hope, man. We are signing the fringe players first, at least doing some things. Now just get the big boys in. Just get me my striker, and I'm somewhat happy. I feel left wing is as important as a striker. I know you could get you could get a Rodrigo and a Gyökeres, you could get a Gyökeres or Sesko, and you can get a developmental winger. But we need additions. And I've been saying this, but I'm very cautious as to what's going on in midfield because it looks, the first thing, we'll get into Norgaard, but the first thing is clearly the Partey things is done. Maybe we wanted him anyways, but clearly the Partey thing's gone. Now I understand bringing in Norgaard. What I like about him is he is experienced. It is kind of, I know it's not the sexy blockbuster goosebump signing, and it does kind of reek of what we've kind of done in the market, trying to find deals, but you know, he isn't going to, in terms of wages, probably nowhere near Thomas Partey's. And I only say that because the fee that we're probably going to buy him for and the wages, it allows us a bit of wiggle room for some other positions. We still need to, when you look at the age of some of our midfielders, we still need to be scouting in the next 12 to 18 months for another one. And I would have thought with Partey going, maybe we could have pivoted towards a more number 8. I know Rice plays there. I actually think you're going to see a lot of Zubimendi in the middle and final third in terms of general play on top of him being a 6. But low cost operation. It might not be the sexy signing, but it is win now mode. He's 31. He ain't got no time to waste. This is as big good as it's going to get if this happens. Wages are going to be nowhere near Partey's. Is Premier League proven. Is an intelligent footballer. Brentford, I always say this, and you lot see it yourselves. We're very different. I know definitely with Thomas Frank going now, I don't know what Brentford's going to look like, but there's intangibles, the pressing, the stuff around set pieces, all of that kind of jazz. Brentford do that. So it seems like it's almost seamless. We went and got Raya. We was linked with Embuemo. Norgaard is clearly a player we like. I don't know if he was the first choice. He's 31, 2 years left on his deal. Isn't going to break the bank. Respectfully, Brentford to Arsenal, different kettle of fish. It probably just made too much sense and all of those kind of things. So I do like him. Can play as a 6. Very good ball winner. Threat from set pieces. Not against it, but it's not the needle mover, the ceiling raiser, of course. So yeah, if you bring him in and you've addressed an area to go with Zubimendi, and again, you get the strike, you get the left winger and everything else, I'm happy. But it's not one that's going to inspire you, if I'm honest. And generally looking at our midfield, I think Zubimendi is going to be a hit. but he is going to need that adaptation period. Or even if he doesn't, right now he's never kicked a ball in the Premier League, so he has to adapt on and off the ball, on and off the field, right? Whether he rate Partey or not, he was a key player. Rice 8-6, he's got that covered. But exclude Rice, to have Norgaard, Merino, Zubamendi adapting, Declan Rice. There's a lot of isms and schisms, and even though it's different, just in terms of a midfield body, it doesn't necessarily block the pathway, if it makes sense. Now, for him, you hear his family are happy in London. He's 31, he's got a wife. Apparently, he's in Denmark at the moment because his wife's expected to give birth. So he's happy in London. Obviously, the commute's going to be a bit longer. So it probably just makes too much sense. But it's not the blockbuster, the wow factor kind of thing that you're hoping for with any signing Arsenal, mate, man. It'd be typical Arsenal if we was to let Liverpool swoop in for Gyokeres, but Goosebumps FC and all of that. Thoughts on LEAO wearing Arsenal shirt with Henry on it? If we don't get Rodrigo, I don't mind LEAO. I don't read too much into it. It's a nice t-shirt. He's clearly around fashion. Doesn't matter if you're ever going to play for Arsenal or not. You know what Henry has given to the game and whatnot, so it makes sense. I don't know, though, man. I like LEAO. I am not turning down LEAO. I'd be happy with LEAO. But for me, what I'm excited about with LEAO is irrelevant. You're an exciting player. You're a guy that gets, bums off seats. You can change a game. You're skillful, pacey, capacity to get goals, skill, all of that kind of stuff. But in a 10-game period, from what I've seen of LEAO, and I'm not a religious watcher, I see too many moments. I need greater consistency. What I mean by that, if you imagine a 10-game sample size, the first 2 games, he might be 20 million out of 10. He's been the best player on the pitch. He's won the games himself. The next 2, he's a bit indifferent. Then he's very crap in the next 2. So there's all of that. I do have question marks around his work rate. But again, work rate is something I find, I've never coached, but it's got to be easy to, if you make that a non-negotiable, it's easier to learn to run and do your defensive work as long as there's a willingness to do it, right? Obviously, you could point towards Ousmane Dembele. People criticize his work rate and all of that kind of jazz. You can't dare say that, in my opinion, based on what you saw with him in PSG. We, of all people, saw it with PSG. Sorry, folks, just making a timestamp. Norgaard, thoughts. Yeah, thoughts. But again, and maybe with cutting costs with Norgaard, that gives us more money to commit, because naturally the game is, well, everybody costs a lot of money. We've seen keepers and defenders sign for big money, but typically we're all of the belief that if we are to spend like significant sums, right? Smash the like button, mods. Let's make sure we're getting on that. If we were to spend significantly, it's left wing and up front. And I need to know what I'm getting from LEAO, man. It's going to be a costly operation. You're going to be on big wages. Probably better than the left wing options we have now, but I couldn't tell you if once I get past the glitz and glamour and the excitement, if I'm like, yeah, it makes us better. But I don't read too much into that. Like, you tried to go for Nico Williams, that's not happening. LEAO, I don't really see aggressive links. Every now and again we're linked with him. Rodrigo seems to be the flavor of the month. A lot of dominoes, in my opinion, have to fall for the LEAO, for the Rodrigo thing, in that he's got to make it clear I'm leaving. Xabi Alonso's either got to tell him you can stay, I fuck with you, but you're not going to get that level of football. Real Madrid say, you know what, you need to make money. Arsenal are committed to somewhat breaking or shifting their wage structure, because you're going to have to put him on big money and you're going to have to, pay a big fee. And I don't know how that affects what you're doing, because there's a lot of moving parts. We need to sell, we need to renew deals, we need to address certain areas. So it'd be quite interesting, man. But then once you go past Nico Williams, LEAO, Rodrigo, assuming these things do not happen, even with that Argentinian wonder kid, apparently plays off the right a lot, so that could be something. When you look past them, the only other option, unless there's a Mo Salah out there that is in Italy right now, or there's a very good winger that's, I don't know, mid 20s that nobody's talking about, but we sign and he hits it off, then you've got no choice to now explore we're not going to get him, but the Jamie Gittins, the Adin Yemis, them kind of players there that we're linked with that maybe are rough around the edges. Or you look at Lyon, they got a couple, Malik Fofana. I think we could work with him. It's, Lyon will appeal it, but they got relegated. So you either go for the plan A's, like the game changers, you go for the stars of tomorrow, or you do what I don't want to happen is, the players that for one reason or another, it's their days at their current employers are numbered. And that's why you keep seeing us linked with, Jadon Sancho. At this moment in time, you could throw Rashford in that. I know it's not the same, but Raheem Sterling, that kind of thing, in that it literally addresses an area because he plays in that position, but there's a lot of baggage. And regardless of who we sign, where we maneuver, I need to see September the 1st, there's a striker, there's a left winger. I'm feeling a lot more bullish about our depth and the quality to the starting 11. And there's a lot of moving parts, man. You know, Zubamendi and Rice got a gel in together, assuming the formation and that stays the same. The relationship on the left-hand side with Miles Lewis-Skelly, or if there's another left back and the left winger, how the striker ties into the system individually and with his teammates. There's a lot of unanswered questions. And despite that, it's a win now mode. Don't ever get it twisted. There needs to be a parade of some capacity in North London, the real side of North London, let's say Islington, next season. Sensible signing, Norgaard. Don't have to break the bank for a backup. It's true. And God forbid if Zubamendi struggles, I'm not necessarily confident. I'm not necessarily scared about our midfield options, but I'm not wholeheartedly believing in it. I agree with you. Shrewd addition. I don't think Norgaard's bad, but I ain't seen you in an Arsenal shirt. Zubamendi's adapting to the league. I big up Marino and Kai Havertz. I don't really want to get into that territory, so it'd be interesting. But yeah, we don't have to break the bank. But where the club will shake themselves is because a lot of us, you didn't break the bank here. All right, cool. You didn't commit Partey to a new deal. You didn't go out and find someone that's levels with Partey at this moment in time in the fee. All right, we understand that it might not be a game changer, but it could be, and it is a shrewd addition. But you need to make sure there's no effing about where the strikers in the left wing is concerned. So I'd have to see, man. Thanks for the honor of making me a mod. Much respect. No, man, thank you for fucking with the content. Who better to look after the community than the community itself, man? Without you lot, it would be dead. So appreciate you lot. Big up to the 34 of you who've hit the like button. If you ain't smashed the like button, we do, man. Come on. I don't ask you lot for anything. You lot don't want us to get, I say us because it's us. You lot don't want us to get to 70k still. But yeah, man, I don't buy too much into the LEAO thing. DG, please tell us how we're still in for Sesko when he has rejected us last summer, last winter, and now stalling this window. I don't know about stalling this window because there's a lot of whispers. What's being reported and what's going on in the real world are two different things. How aggressive were we with a striker? How aggressive last summer? How aggressive really and truly were we in everything we did? How aggressive were we? Because again, regardless of if Sesko signs for us and he's amazing or underwhelming or goes somewhere else, if he genuinely thought, I am not going to get enough first team football at Arsenal, or I'm not ready, I want to spend another year at Leipzig, then it's worked out because the same clubs are still in for you, essentially. How much did we want a striker? It's bad, man, but did we lie to him? Because we heard he's got concerns over whether he can play, he's going to get enough football where you've got Kai Havertz. Could we have lied to him and whether he got enough football or not, assured him and given him them guarantees? Were we clear to him that, yo, you'll get football, but it's a squad player thing? I don't know. And even that, Sesko's one thing, but we're linked with Gyokeres and Sesko, and every now and again, you know, we're hearing that the last option is Ollie Watkins. It weren't really a that thing in the summer. Last summer, obviously, Kai Havertz is form towards the end of the year, probably shrewd things, which I thought was naive. A lot of fans, some of you are in this chat saying if we sign a striker, where is Havertz going to play? So it's interesting, man, really. But you do have to remove your ego because on one hand, I understand that. But the very man who manages Arsenal Football Club rejected Arsenal the first time they went through. Remember, we were in for Emery and Arteta. We started them talks there first. For one reason or another, he wanted to stay. And obviously, you've seen how everything's panned out, man. Smash the likes on the way in, hit the sub button. Norgaard is smart business, 9 million cheap for a Premier League player. He's the captain, 40k a week, currently cheap wages. Now, if you're him, I'm not sure on how if provided this move goes on, I don't know how much money you're going to get in terms of your weekly wages. I don't know for the length of contract. If I'm him, I want a 2-year deal potentially with an option of a third. It gives me that security. I might be on 40. Can I double my wages and get a little 80, maybe even pushing 100, whether he's worth it or not? Football career is short, but you are right. And yeah, that's another thing. He's got captain, like he's clearly a leader, intelligence in the system, box-to-box ball winner, can play as a 6, not breaking the bank. Little shrewd addition. I'm not crying about it, if I'm honest. And I do think Arsenal fans do this thing, not necessarily you, but if we was like, if somebody floated that name 24 hours ago, people might have very different opinions. Now it seems like there's legs to it. Start rewriting history and making out he's better than he actually is. But for me, the main thing is cool. If you're, I don't want to say cutting costs, but if you're going cheap here, so you can do the mad thing in where left wing and up front's concerned, fair play. But make sure September the 1st comes, we've addressed all areas. It'd be interesting though, man, because again, like, we got a lot to do, man. Like you're hearing Kepa's basically done and probably announced this week. Zubamendi, we know as soon as it touches July, we expect a level of announcement. You'd imagine this Norgaard thing could, well, he's in Denmark, but could accelerate quickly as long as they're in for pre-season. I think you need to at least get the striker in. Rodrigo, that's dragged out. You're not doing that before preseason starts properly in July. I could be wrong. Who am I? I'm just a fan. But you get the point. But again, it depends, because most people could look at it and say, yeah, you know what? It does stink of what Arsenal typically do. Like, he's got 2 years left on his deal. You're not going to break the bank. He's probably going to be enticed to stay in London and play for Arsenal. It's not really the kind of blockbuster thing. But I can rationalize it, provided you go into other areas. Then you've got some that are going to make out that this is some innovative signing. And then you've got some that obviously they're going to be frustrated. We were told goosebumps. There's frustration from last summer, frustration with the manager. There's an air of needing to deliver at the Emirates. So when they're seeing that, you know, man are buying Verts and Turkey and this thing and that thing and whatnot, and we're getting Norgaard with the greatest of respect, that is going to, you know, create some level of a pylon, man. So yeah, man, I hope they make a top quality striker and left winger quality to counter this underwhelming signing of Norgaard and Kepa. I wouldn't even say Norgaard's underwhelming. I think Kepa's more, for me, I think Kepa's more underwhelming. I understand it, 5 million, goalkeeper, it is what it is, but yeah, that's just how I'd answer that. Norgaard needs to apologize to Nelly for that tackle at the Emirates. Yep, he does, man. He defo does. Like and subscribe, Deluded Delegates. Big up the boy, DG. Appreciate you, man. Norgaard is solid. It makes sense. Objectively, it's solid all around. That's what I'm saying, solid. Social joins. It makes sense. Would I have went for him? No, I would have tried to do the blockbuster thing, but I think there's more positives than not. And it's clearly a short-term addition as well. He's 31 now. He could be doing his thing, but yeah. And we need a bit of experience as well, man. You lost Partey and Jorginho, and there's experience doesn't always come with age, but we need a bit more experience. And I think there's too many unanswered questions. I am very bullish about Zubimendi signing, but he ain't kicked a ball in the Premier League. And it wouldn't surprise me if you do need that adaptation period and get into the intensity and things like that. That's where Norgaard comes in. He's got Premier League experience. He might not be the guy that sells the most shirts and scores bangers in that, but it helps us in that period, man. Come on, big up the catch up. Make sure you're subscribing to SB and catch his new channel. Come on. So yeah, man. Get the likes up, people. DG Mod, man, please. I comment again, my guy, because I have to go on YouTube, like the YouTube community tab. You, man, always want dons that don't want to leave, give you a headache. Just get dons that are on playing for the club. Look at Timber. Shit was smooth. Raya smooth. I hear that. I hope they're saving money to try and get a top quality striker, left winger, and backup Saka to counter the underwhelming signing of Norgaard and Kepa. Otherwise, it's going to be long. Whatever they do, they need to make it happen. Like, if all the signings you make in my mind are underwhelming, or they're the best thing since sliced bread, all that I need to know is come May 2026, there's silverware by hook or by crook. If you want to get a bunch of pensioners in footballing terms that are 30 plus, or you want to play with a bunch of kids, pause. Just make sure you know what we need to do, because we flirted with last season, better yet, with the Champions League. I wouldn't even say we flirted with the Premier League last year, but we finished second, and objectively, that means we're the second best. Get over the line. That tells me there's a solid base. So if we take what we're good at and make it great, address the evident underwhelming areas, it still wouldn't guarantee success, but put our best foot forward. I want us to put our best foot forward, and I want to feel like, regardless of how the season's panned out, that we've done all we can. I always say this. Now, you look at last summer, and of course, it's easy for me as an armchair expert to say this needs to happen, that needs to happen, but that's the belly of the beast. Arteta, you made yourself the manager. You've done some good things. You're on big money. Berta, you've come in with big reputation. Kroenke, it is what it is. This is what football fans want. But, you know, if we got the striker, the left winger, and we got the bodies to improve our depth, and we got the bodies to improve the quality starting 11, which probably 3 signings, centre, mid, left wing, and up front, and the season still panned out in terms of injuries, bodies dropping like flies, for me, I would say unlucky, because you've actively tried to fix a problem. I don't quite subscribe to that as to the reality of how everything panned out. So yeah, man, banging squad player, I get it. He's going to be a threat from set pieces, and he's intelligent. That's one thing I'm on, man. Banging squad player, I get this sign. Not going to lie, Kai. He's Premier League proven and it's cheap. Partey's time is up. He's 32. His service is done. Just move on. That just tells me you never know, because Partey might start playing right back, and you can't rule out Partey until it's over. But that's what's told me, in that, like, whatever wages Partey thinks he's grabbing here, he's not grabbing them. We need to move on, man. Stop lying about Partey. We offered him a deal. Nathan, what are you talking about? I haven't even mentioned Partey, but you know what? God says be kind to people. He wants an increase. That's ridiculous. How is it ridiculous? Because that's fan cap. That's your fan cap one. How is it ridiculous? If you was at a job and you know, obviously around Partey, injuries and all of those things, but despite the injuries and all of those negatives we can talk about Partey, excluding the off-field alleged stuff, which we don't condone, and that's why I'm happy he might be departing as well in that case. But I don't want to speculate. Yeah, in the last 5 years, he's been a key player. Despite all the injuries, he's been central to Arteta. Think about it from a working point of view. If you've been here 5 years, see no increase in your wages, there's issues there, rightly or wrongly. Look at it objectively. Your career is short. You want to get money. You're comfortable here. You're rated. Give me a salary uplift, in which I believe if Partey never had these injuries around him from 2020 until 2025, you probably would have signed improved terms. Like, Partey is clearly a player we rate, but clearly, like with Jesus in previous summers, a player that we've not forced you out, but we're open to offers. And that's the silver lining, that those wages can go elsewhere. So I understand if he wants a small increase or he wants his wages frozen and all of those kind of things. And obviously, prior to this Norgaard, sorry for hitting the mic there, prior to this Norgaard stuff coming out, Arsenal had to weigh up the cost. If you're going to find someone that's like for like quality with Partey, how much is that going to cost in terms of wages and a transfer fee? And is that less or more expensive than, ironically, giving Partey an extension for a year or two, or, you know, giving him the same wages? Where I think he's foolish is somewhat agreeing with you in the sense that you're not going to get them. You never know. Your agent might play a blinder and, you know, you might get paid less wages, but you got a longer contract and there's more bonuses and that. You're the only way Partey is going to get those wages that he's on at Arsenal or an uplift, obviously, is if he goes Saudi Arabia. He's been linked with a return to Atletico Madrid, been linked with Barca, been linked with Juventus, AC Milan. Allegedly, there's other Premier League clubs interested in. I still wouldn't rule out him staying, even though I don't believe that. These are great clubs to play for, great towns and countries and all of those things to live in, right? But you're not going to get those wages. So I understand if we've got an ability to pivot. And it makes it somewhat easier as well, because obviously I think Norgaard is going to, and I don't mean this in a disingenuous way, I think Norgaard is going to be a squad player. Bearing in mind, it's 38 games. We saw how last season panned out, right? Norgaard, you're going to be a squad player. Havertz, you should be a squad player if we sign a striker. Martinelli is a bench thing, rotation thing. Trossard, the same. If these lot are part, obviously they're squad players. If all of them names I said and more, if their form is out of this world and they're going through great purple patches or they're doing the business, you won't lose your spot. But now, you know, you're getting demoted. Had we have kept Partey and we've obviously got Zubimendi, yeah, it's competition. At least for a year, it's all. Is Arteta going to wait to bed in Zubimendi, or is Zubimendi going to be the starter from the off? We don't know. So it's a way to get around that. So I wouldn't say it's ridiculous. I genuinely wouldn't say it's ridiculous. We can't look at it with a tribal thing, but it's not making sense. And again, when you read his article, when you read what better yet, watch when you watch his a man said article. 1 sec, I'm trying to catch a mod. Post the link again as well, bro. Yeah, when you read when you watch his interview he did in Ghana, he spoke kind of the same thing. When he emerged at Atletico Madrid, he was from, you know, being on the peripheral to being one of the 30 guys. He was still on the same wages. I would have liked to have kept Partey because it is what it is. But boy, I'm not going to cry about this, if I'm honest. Because we got to save wages, man. You know, you shed Partey off the wage bill. Tierney's on 100 bags. You get Nelson, that's on 100 bags gone. Jorginho was probably on something nice. I'm not that I'm pocket watching or care what people get. And I don't think everyone's going to get flogged. But if Zinchenko, and again, we know we need a squad. We can't see 10 players go and 10 players come in. But you purely in terms of wages, Zinchenko's wages gone, provided he makes a move. Fabio Vieira might not be earning the most, but if you got like 3-4 men that are not part of this, that are on anything from 30 to 60 grand a week, every little helps kind of thing, which can be reinvested to the new contracts of existing players and obviously bringing people in. And then you look at it, you're not selling people. You know, if I just said Tomiyasu, Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, depending on if you rate them or why you don't rate them, or you know, injuries for one, big contract for the other, these players are not getting flogged. They're not going to get, whether they're injured or key players, they're not getting flogged. So we need to find other ways to mix and blend. And you know what, Berta? Just get the job done, man. You're not going to sleep a wink in the next few months unless we get the business done early. The offer is linked to the possible departure of Thomas Partey. Norgaard is not a long-term target, but Partey's solution has prompted the club to look into an experienced midfielder, which I'm for. I'm all for that. I don't mind if they go and get the Agumi guy, which could be techie, because you'd imagine Inter Milan are due some serious wages, yeah. But I don't. It just doesn't make sense. I'm on that, really. If I'm completely honest, like, I'm fully on that. Just go and it shows me you're able to pivot very quickly, because I would have been a bit nervous about the experience. I know Jorginho wasn't starting every week, but you can't let experienced Jorginho go. Partey going. Obviously, Zubamendi's 26, but for reasons we've been waffling about, he's adapting to the league. I know you've got Marino, but then you're going to bring in the Sevilla Gourmet guy. It doesn't matter to a degree, but yeah, I think we need a bit of experience there, know-how. And I guess I'm not working for Brentford in it, but there must be a level of professionalism from Norgaard. You know, in this present day and age, a lot of teams do their kind of research in that regards. So it'd be interesting. Be interesting to see where Partey goes, man, because the credible journalists sit there and say, what should I put in the timestamp? The credible journalists sit there and say that thingy, he's got interest from Premier League clubs. Who are these Premier League clubs? And to be honest, if Premier League clubs are interested in your experience force, if Premier League clubs are interested in you, you might not get Arsenal wages, but you know, such is life, and the money in the Premier League, you're probably going to earn a lot more money staying in the Premier League than you would if you would go to AC Milan and this one and that one and the third. So it'll be quite interesting to see what happens in that regards, man. Fair enough, but it's reported we offered him a contract. I can't lie, I think you're just moaning for no reason. I think we're in agreement. We know this. I think people are overreacting with this Norgaard news because, broski, we want stars. We're looking at what other people are doing. We hear war chest and powder dry, and we want to win type stuff. Like, it's just natural spilling over. Anything that isn't eye-watering, like a Declan Rice signing or a Rodrigo or a Gyokeres, people are going to lose their shits. Now, most people will lose their shits and actually sit there. Like some of you probably saw, oh, rah, we're linked with Norgaard. That's shit, man. Why are we getting him? But then you sat down and you thought about it and like, okay, cool. It does stink of what Arsenal kind of do in bargain hunting, but there's a lot of positives around it, or it's not as bad as making out. This is the thing. That's why the club need to deliver in the market. I'm keen to see how our first 6 to 10 games go as well in the Premier League. And well, I've been alluding to what needs to happen in May, innit? We're going to get into the rumours and that in a sec, man. Make sure you're following the catch-up. This tells me when we go for a striker and a winger, it's going to be booters. And if we don't, they twanged us. I hear you. But then let's just say, for argument's sake, yeah, boom, we done that. We're saving money over with Norgaard. We're going to try to do the mad thing for Rodrigo. We get our striker. But there's no guarantee still that we're going to get Gyokeres or Rodrigo. And it's not the same for me, but in terms of the fee, Sesko, because at some point we're going to have to bite the bullet. I understand Arsenal. We need to fix up the wages. We want to operate in a certain sort of way and whatnot. But at some point, you're going to have to sit at the big boy table and do big boy things. Take nothing away from Declan Rice. Logically, why would you want to pay 105 million and shatter your transfer record? But the positives outweigh the negatives. I'm sure if you ask Liverpool, and it's nothing to do with the players, did they want to spend however much for Alisson or however much for Van Dijk? But this is the realm man want to be in now. At some point, we're going to have to do that. I'm not expecting us to sign 5, 6 of those players in quick succession, but there is that. Sometimes you barter, you negotiate as much as you can, but at some point, if we want quality, we're going to have to pay what's required. I was wrong about you. Couple my people follow you and you told me you're objective and don't push agendas. Big up, not to admit I was wrong. Get me? You see me? The people that were chatting shit in my comments are bred in now. You see what I'm saying? You was like, oh, I remember your comment, you know. I don't hear it, like, big up Lee, but you was like, oh, yeah, you just talk off Lee, oh, you don't talk like this on TalkSport. And now, look, yeah, big up your friends, yeah. I'm gonna allow you. I'm a good guy. Shy, nice to have you here. If I didn't have character development, I'd have said fuck you, mate. But you get me. Welcome. And it does take a man. I hope you are a man. If you're a gal, then sorry. But yeah, you admitted you're wrong. I get that all the time, though, man. I get that all the time. You know, people say, "Oh, you're an alright lad. Oh, you really are deluded. Oh, you really are deluded. You're not so deluded. Why is that your name? I used to watch you. Now I hate you. I hate you. Now I watch you." And then there's some people that are just committed to just chat shit in my comments all the time. But at least you're spoken about, innit? If you're not spoken about, you're not rated. It's kind of like Arsenal. Everybody says Arsenal and shit. Well, bottlers, we're this, that, and the other, and we're just spoken about by rivals. But yeah, man, one love. But what if Zubamendi gets injured or takes time to adapt? Would Norgaard be good enough to step up? Well, yeah, because then, because then he's going to have to, the Norgaard and the Rice thing, we're going to have to run that, or Marino's going to have to come in. There are going to be periods next season where man are injured, people have lost form. We're going to have to do a bit of cute and clever things. So nobody can misunderstand me. Clearly, whether it's Sesko, Ollie Watkins, Gyokeres, I want a bad boy striker. But there might be a period, for whatever reason, for 1 or 2 games, Marino might have to go up front. Kai might have to go up front. There might be a game where Rodrigo's there. Again, I'm trying to speak into existence, but Rodrigo's there, Gyokeres is there. They're doing the business for 5 games in a row. We're doing whatever, but there might be a game where it's just not happening for those players. So we might have to take off Zubimendi, dash on Norgaard, and do little cute and clever things. We need to be able to maneuver sometimes. Throughout a course of a season, we need to be able to play on people's purple patches. Sometimes take players out of the firing line. Sometimes tweak our little tactics here and there. We've got to box smart. A week's a long time in football. So you can only imagine 38 weeks. And then you start bringing in FA Cups and League Cups and Champions League. And, you know, we might have lost this week. Liverpool and City have won. We won, they lost. And all the other ramifications. We need a squad. So, yeah, man, it's quite an interesting dynamic, man, if I'm honest. So, yeah, hope that answers your question as good as I can, man. Smart signing, everyone relax. Jen next door, you're asking Arsenal fans to relax, bro. Better man than me. He has experience, but has he played at the top level? To be honest, I don't think he's played in the Champions League. I could be wrong, but he's played for Fiorentina. He's done his thing at Brentford. And you're right, but at the same time, football is football, bro. Like, I understand, like, we all understand there's a goal in certain maneuvers. We saw in little things, even our manager, like in the Champions League, doing little things, you can see that you weren't experienced. But when we strip it back, what is different? There's 11 men out there. The goals are the same. If you can play football in England, you can play football in the Champions League, etc. And you need to be given the scope. Because some of our players, I still wouldn't describe them as experienced, but they've learned on the job kind of thing. Rice, Zubimendi, Norgaard is enough for the 6 people. I would have preferred the 8 though. I'm not against Norgaard signing, but I just would have thought maybe we could have pivoted, you know, really and truly with we potentially could have pivoted to an 8 or a Rangers kind of sort. And one thing that I probably haven't mentioned, and it's probably, you know, whatever, Miles Lewis-Skelly clearly seen as a left back then. Because you've got Norgaard coming in, experienced man. Marino's there. Rice is there. Zubimendi's there. I don't think you're going to see this, but there are the options of an Odegaard moving there. I'm not saying he's going to stay, but on paper, Fabio Vieira, Wanyeri. This just tells me Lewis-Skelly ain't going to get the football in midfield. It's a left-back thing for now, at the very least, in which that's not a bad thing because Norgaard is getting on a bit. He's 31. Within the next 2 years or something, Miles Lewis-Skelly could move into midfield. Remember, Saka had to earn his chops at left back. And now look where he is and look what he's doing. So it is what it is, man. So it'd be interesting, man. It would be interesting. I keep changing the timestamps, midfield thoughts. Big up you lot, man. It's always a pleasure to be here with you lot, man. But yeah, man, before we crack on, let's get some more comments. Let's move this. Again, big up you lot watching this on a replay because I care about you lot. Let's go chat thoughts. Let's call it that. Marino, Rice, Norgaard, Zubi, all DMs. Where's our creative midfielders, Mr. Martin, Wondergaard, and whatnot? But that's what I'm saying. Like, could we do with an 8 now? Obviously, Rice is more of an 8 for us now. He can do the 6 thing. Marino, admittedly, out of all them names, I don't really want to see Marino as the 6. I understand he could do it. There's certain games for it, but I just think typically with what you see in the Premier League, I think Marino's slow's not the right word, even though he is slow. I think Xhaka would look like Usain Bolt, but he's more a bit, I don't know the word, graceful's not the word, but he kind of just one pace. I don't really like Marino there. I'd rather him play as an 8 than a 6. And I do think people get too caught up on it. At the end of the day, you're centre midfielders. Just because you're an 8 don't mean you don't have to do 6 stuff. Just because you're a 6 does not mean you don't have to contribute in the final third. And I think where you look at Zubimendi, I'm not saying he's going to become an 8, even though if you could have Zubimendi and Rice operating more dynamically, that could be good. You're going to see a lot more of Zubimendi in the final third. That isn't me saying he's going to get goals and assists, but I do think you're going to have to contribute. A lot of our, well, there's not, apart from Raya, who it's even a lie, in the modern day and at Arsenal, every player is involved in all phases of play. Obviously, if you're a striker, you still have to score goals. Winger, you still have to do that. Defender, you still have to defend. But that's what you got. That's what the game is now. Or nobody would care in the modern day about how good keepers are with their feet and the pressing from a striker and everything in between it with the pockets of space Rice takes up, with the inverted left back crap, with what you see. If we got inverted left back with what Timber or Ben White are probably going to do, which is overlapping or forming a back three, this is the kind of things you typically see. Better start because Liverpool ain't playing about. We don't need backup for Saka taking minutes off Wanyeri. We're not going to get out and out backup for Saka. We're not going to buy a right winger. You don't know. There could be a market opportunity, a young G, and he's there. But you're more likely to see somebody who's stronger on or prefers to play on the left-hand side. You might have to move over there. Rightly so, you said. In the short term, I think Wanyeri's seen as an option off there. So you're not going to see that. Like, you're not going to see us go for one of them, man. DG, wouldn't it be smarter to go for LEAO, cheaper to do Milan or doing a fire sale? Rodrigo will drag out your window. I think both are equally as difficult. If I'm honest, it might, yeah, man, it might. I think it might be easier to get LEAO out. But then if the club are going for Rodrigo, they could simultaneously be talking with LEAO. Personally, there's no audio. I'm not sure on that. As I was before that threw me off. I don't think we're gonna. I think if we don't get Rodrigo, we're gonna get like a lesser known entity, if that makes sense. Smash the likes and hit the sub. Come on, man. Pin what? Catch. I ain't seen nothing. You ain't put nothing there, but my guy. Norgaard, I like his play style, something different to what we have, similar to Xhaka, can get up the pitch and has that aggression in tackles. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not looking at him to score and assist, even though you're gonna have to, but yeah, I hear it. Cheaper to pay Partey a higher salary than to buy Norgaard and pay his wages. I doubt either will have sell on. Yeah, I don't think we want to keep him. Clearly. Not. Did I say that? Or did I say I think he's leaving? We've given him an offer, bro. Partey is playing Arsenal against Barca. He's made tons of money, but at the end of his vital footballing years. I can't lie to you, and I understand it. You want to play, you want to do these things. People call you a money grabber because it's all tribal. But at the end of the day, bro, these lot come from humble beginnings. And wait, you know, the lifestyle you're living right now, once you stop getting paid them wages, you're going to need to adjust to that. And a football career short. Why shouldn't any footballer in this world, you know, maximize their earnings, maximize everything? Because the clubs will always try and underpay you. Let's be real. Clubs will always underpay you. So, yeah, man. And he reserves his right. But for us, we need to move on. I'm sure we've been talking to Partey for a lot longer than we're led to believe. But at the end of the day, it's nice to see that this ain't dragging out. Cool. If you're not staying Partey, keep it moving. Little contingency plan. Addressing other areas and whatever, man. And we need depth as well, because again, we're that weird little team in that you take if a couple of our players aren't doing it, or they've lost form, or they're injured or suspended, you see the issues. Everyone was drawing Partey out for the second leg. There was a slight improvement. You saw the first leg. Because of the lack of depth, if we have to, because there's one issue in our squad, we have to start moving other people about, and then you can start seeing a knock-on effects. And you all saw it. Partey got injured. Rice went back in the 6. Marino came in midfield, and we went with the false 9. And you could see those changes. We need to make sure there's not a big drop-off. Head loss on the TO over 10 million backup signing midweek as well. Brother, you know what time it is. Football's an emotional sport. People are not going to apply logic, man. I always say I don't tell people what to think. I understand the frustration. I don't think it's necessarily Norgaard personally. It's like you're still waiting to be wowed by something Arsenal do. But we've made movements. Apologies, there's audio. Sorry, mate, my fault. Scared me, T, man. Arsenal haven't even confirmed Zubimendi and Kepa's medical. We haven't signed anyone till yet. To be honest, I think them things they are done, man. If I'm honest. DG, wouldn't you have preferred a younger player who's going to grow into that position? We're going to be forced to replace Norgaard in the next 2 to 3 years. 100% we are, as you know. But now, you know, what's the like? What everyone agrees, we need a backup goalkeeper, right? Probably need another defender. Clearly need a striker. Need a left winger. Midfield needs to be addressed. We seem like we might get over the line with Norgaard, asterisk next to Zubimendi's name, right? So let's just skip forward to September and say we've done everything in terms of incomings. Don't get it twisted. The minute that's gone, Arsenal need to begin work for next summer. And I genuinely think on the board or whatever whiteboard there is at London Coley, if it was up to me, number 10, in the next 12 to 18 months, you need to be assessing, can you get a young emerging number 10? Odegaard's role. I know you got young Max Dolman and Wanyeri, but you couldn't pull Odegaard out of that position last year. So why? Out of that last year. So you know you need that. You probably need to be assessing, you know, just because of Gabriel Magalhaes. He's not young and he signed a new deal, but probably looking for a centre half. And naturally, you need to be looking at centre midfield. You're right. In this typically I would have preferred a different profile, like an 8. In this aspect, I'm agreeing with signing Norgaard, because I do think you need that bit of experience, if I'm honest, because we're losing Jorginho and Partey. Partey is more on the field. Jorginho, obviously on the field, and he's a bit of a coach, but I think that's a more off the field thing. Like if you were, you know, in the change room, in and around the ground, sharing those moments, really. 100%. I'd rather us go for NOOGARD right now than a Gormy, if that makes sense. I'm not against signing my man. They want to bring him in, go bring him in, do your thing. But I do think that need that experience, man. You need that. You do need that. If that makes sense, man. You definitely need that. You definitely need that. Love for the super chat, my boy. Late to the stream. Thoughts on Partey leaving? Is what it is, man. Like I've always said, on paper, he's going until he signs a new contract. Didn't really want to see him go because I wanted him and Zubamendi. I think we're sorted. Could have pivoted towards an 8, but all options are being on the table. While we haven't got the Partey replacement per se in terms of a body in, I know Zubamendi and whatnot, but you could argue the club wanted 2 bodies there. Now Partey signs a new deal. Next one comes in. I'm happy to at least see movements are being made quickly to address that because we've got a lot to do. We have a lot to do in the market, man. I think we need players for now. Leave the projects to Man United and Chelsea. Do both, man. Get the players for right now getting over the line. But, you know, the Napans, the Victor Rices, all of these market opportunities, do that simultaneously. That's the next step. We need to do that. If it was up to me, I don't think the Cronkies are on it. But we need to go and get them, start doing that multi-club structure. We need to start bringing in players that if they develop to, if we get them at a low cost and they develop to the first team, great. If they develop but they're not quite as good, like we get a man for 5 million, we sell him for 35, keep it moving, reinvest. And the academy, not everyone in that academy is going to make it. But you look at City, you look at Chelsea, they're making bank. Not all of them have naturally come through these academies. They bought them from elsewhere. But at the end of the day, you can't go wrong making a profit. And we're not going to spend to the levels of City typically. We're definitely not going to do that to Chelsea. So we need to be a bit smarter in that regards, if I'm completely honest, man. Sad to see him go, but it is what it is. And even that with Partey, right now, it seems like the no-brainer, quote unquote, was to give Partey a new deal. But you have to imagine, like, is that an anomaly? From what we've seen with Partey, you've had 2 seasons where you've been ever present, if that makes sense. 2022, 23, and the one that's just gone. What if you revert back to type? Because I do think Partey is one of them. I do think, because he even said it in that interview, like, I do think he's a lifestyle kind of man, excited with the London lifestyle, an element of complacency. You're playing for a new deal, whether that's a new deal at Arsenal or elsewhere, man. DG, would you sell Martinelli to bring in Madueke? Rodrigo and LEAO, Gyokeres, Saka as a front 3 can be dangerous. Like and subscribe, as Frank has said, a Liverpool fan. Jerry, big up yourself, Jezza, man. Miss me with a Gormy, bring me Burundi. I can't say his name, but the LEAO brother. I'm on that, you know. I'm on that. I think Strasbourg and Monaco have a couple of wild card guys we could take a chance on. But I say that to say this, all the youth thing, and this is someone, you know me, I love the youth talent and all of that kind of stuff. All those market opportunities and all of that, part that off for a second. We need to make sure we have enough for the 38 games of the 2025-26 season and every competition. Once you handle that, go find them 18-year-olds that might develop and can be part of the team and all of that. Or in fact, do that simultaneously. Jason Naito's probably serving his garden leave. Make him little man him and make him go elsewhere and do things like that. But we need done. The focus is for right now. A lot of what I feel we've been linked with, I don't think many fans would be against it. But since in the last 2 years, 3 years really, but 2 years where we've gone into the league with expectations to at least get over the line, things need to be adjusted now. We need to accelerate and things like that, if that makes sense. But yeah, man, real tears if Gyokeres goes Liverpool. Just bring me my striker, bro. Even if Partey plays only 10 to 12 games per season, his presence in the dressing room, on the bench, and during transitions could be crucial in the running. But hey, DG, we should put a bid in for Lavia. Because I like Lavia, yeah, but that's the one I wanted. Well, some of you have been following me. The year we brought Declan Rice in, now in hindsight, Havertz and him was going to be the partnership. It didn't work, did it? But I wanted Lavia because I thought that's younger Partey. Ironically, they both get injured. You get him, you've got the replacement before the man that needs replacing, you know, has left. Partey is another Trent Judas. All right, G. All right, G. All right, man. Football's an emotional sport. Someone mentioned Fabrizio Romano. Let me go on his account because don't worry, people. We're gonna get into this in a second, man. It's you lot. You lot are entertaining. Fair play. Fair enough. One love for that. So yeah, man. Keep your thoughts coming and all of them good things. I catch. I can't find the post. You ain't posted the channel, brother. But yeah, Jason, big up yourself, my dude. Big up yourself, Killy. I would take Gibbs White instead of Eze. I think it's an Eze thing now, you know. I think you've got Zuberman. I like Morgan Gibbs White, and the Morgan Rogers, the Morgan Gibbs Whites. In terms of what I want to see in midfield, you're more likely to get a tune out of them kind of man than what Wenger used to bring in. But I think with Norgaard and Zubimendi, for me, for what we need for next season, I kind of want to pivot towards a Eze because, yeah, he can actually play in midfield, but that left wing. But it's how much do we like Eze? But it is what it is. All right, catch. One love. Make sure you're following the catch up. Let me go on YouTube before we begin. Where are you, mate? There you are. Pin that. Pin that. Can't say no to Eze, but then 50 odd on Zubimendi. Probably 60, 70 conservative bet on either Sesko or Gyokeres. I hope Rodrigo, that's 100 odd million, but let's say 50 to 100 odd million on the left winger. Probably going to bring in a defender for, I don't know, but 20 plus million minimum, 20 to around 40, depending on whatever target that is. 5 million's gone to Kepa. Obviously, Kepa and Norgaard's fees are not breaking the bank, but every little helps. Are they going to do that and then find some bread for Eze? Maybe with some outgoings, you never know, man. The day fans realize their players don't care / support their club like they do, the quicker half the nonsense we see in here will be squashed. He's 32. Realistically speaking, how long will he keep his form? How much more money can they pay, all things considered? I hear that, Karma, and you're right. Shout out, Karma. But then it's very different. But then Norgaard's 31, probably turning 32. So where do we go there? DG, in my opinion, Eze is a 20-minute excitement player in the match, but we kind of need that. I think you're being a bit harsh to him. But I just don't know how much we like Eze to put 60 odd million quid down. I'll take LEAO as well. Think his game fits the Prem. I swear to God, if Liverpool get Gyokeres, it's wraps for the league. But hey, it's dark, mate. It's dark. It's dark. It's very dark. Norgaard's ability to sense danger and make interceptions at a high level. His ability to play forward on the first or second touch. He's an intelligent done, man. X is wild. They say Gyokeres followed some guard dog site in London that other Arsenal players follow. I saw that, man. And you know what? For me, I just want to see medical. All I care about is medicals being done, people holding shirts. But it's nice to see Arsenal fans getting back to that. I've seen Arsenal fans track planes. And, you know, it didn't work for Isaac where they were saying, oh, my God, Isaac's in London. Look at his license plate. He won't sign for Arsenal. Yada, yada, yada. But, yeah, man, I'm at the point now. Just get them through the door, innit? I don't really care about all that other kind of stuff, if it makes sense, man. Eze plays for Palace would be a completely different baller for us. Big up yourself, K. Gyokeres will be done by mid-July. I hope it's slightly earlier, but you just never know. Project players such as Sesko, Nusa are good, but win now mode, Gyokeres, Rodrigo. I'll believe Rodrigo when I see it. But as I always say, I didn't think we was going to sign Aubameyang. I definitely didn't think we were going to sign Mesut Ozil or Alexis Sanchez or actually Declan Rice. So maybe my pessimism is a good omen. I hope to be wrong naturally as an Arsenal fan. I'm not going to hold my breath, though. I'll be honest. I'll believe it's a believe it when I see it type of thing, if that makes sense, people. If we start to look at the rumblings around Arsenal in terms of the media at this moment in time, Thomas Partey is set to leave Arsenal as a free agent at the end of the month. Story from last week confirmed. Arsenal have already activated options to replace Thomas with Norgaard. Talks ongoing with Brentford. Best of luck, Partey, then. Do your thing. Arsenal submitted proposal worth 11 million package for Christian Norgaard. Negotiations ongoing as Brentford want more and talks continue. Norgaard wants to join Arsenal. So we want him. He's got a willingness to join us. He's got 2 years left on his deal. We'll have to see how Brentford operate. The first bid is very rarely accepted. So we'll have to see, man. We'd have to see. Again, you would have seen David Ornstein was the initial source. Arsenal exploring a deal for Brentford's Christian Norgaard after 11 million euros bid. The North London, why is this scrolling all weird? The North London club are exploring a deal for the 31-year-old while they await Brentford's response to their offer. Arsenal have not reached an agreement with Partey, whose contract is up on June the 30th. As it stands, the Ghanaian will leave the club as a free agent next week. And again, remember when the free agents list was announced, it said we was talking to Partey. So it's not happening now, innit? We heard Berta and his agent don't necessarily see eye to eye. To be fair, it's nice to see the club stuck to their guns, innit? It is what it is. It's not the same, but we've seen when we've given big players contracts where it looks like a no-brainer and how it's panned out. Partey would be the second central midfielder to leave, obviously, for me, Jorginho's joined Flamengo. We're bringing in Zubimendi. Norgaard has 2 years left on his contract, has been a key player for the West London club since arriving from Fiorentina in the summer of 2019, where he reunited with Thomas Frank, who obviously coached him at Brøndby, Brentford, pardon me, and the Danish youth setup. And it felt like he was going to go Spurs. We don't know if my man's actually going to sign for Arsenal because we've just had a bid. It's nothing to do with being accepted. But Spurs were linked with him. We thought the reunion thing could happen there, innit? So we'll have to see. On Tuesday, claims from the UK stated Arsenal could consider a move for Brentford's Christian Norgaard this summer. This has reached the Danish press and specifically Bold, who state the Gunners are keen on securing the midfielder services. Arsenal want to make the Brentford player an important part of their midfield next season. They state Mikel Arteta's side have sent an offer to Brentford for the 31-year-old. It's a large $1 million bid. I mean, they're not lying, but they're exaggerating in this day and age, isn't it, really and truly? Lokonga's still coming back. Lokonga can't help us, man. Could be a play to make Partey take a lower wage. That's true, but surely we're at the point now where Arsenal have to consider alternatives and Partey has to consider, it's cutting. You never know. Stranger things have happened. If Partey turns around today and says, oh, no, I'm staying, they probably cut the cord on this Norgaard thing, unless it's too far to turn back. So, yeah, we hope to find an agreement with the Bees. Apparently, he had his best season with Brentford, and Bold say Arteta was clearly impressed with his performances. I mean, I don't know if he was impressed with the clampers on Martinelli, but yeah, people. He's rejected concrete offers to continue at Brentford. The report claims he did this because his family's priority was to stay in London. So fair enough. He's rejected previous offers and he wants to stay. Thomas Frank wanted him. Now a unique opportunity has arisen for Christian Norgaard, who can stay with his family in London if the Brentford camp will accept the offer that Arsenal has made for him. Brentford's decision will be key and it's unclear what they plan to do. The outlet claims if they were to reject Arsenal's offer, the Bees risk having an unhappy player. That isn't anything too dissimilar. Santi Aronia, who is a journalist, has said Arsenal sent their first bid. The proposal has already been turned down. Talks are continuing between both clubs, and the midfielder wants to join Arsenal. Where there's a will, there's a way. He is their captain. We bidded 9.3 million quid. And we're closing in on signing Zubimendi, as we know. He's seen as a leader, Norgaard, and a character that would be good in the dressing room. I mean, if you're a captain, like, all of these things and these fact checks would have been done. You'd imagine David Raya. Obviously, Bert has been saying what he's saying about the finances. Arteta has been saying what he's saying. The coaching staff has. Past that, then you've probably asked the David Raya, mate, I know you're on your honeymoon right now, but remember you used to play with Christian Norgaard. What's he like as a guy? No, he's a fucking cunt. He's nice. Transitional period for Brentford. Lost their manager, could lose Visa, could lose Mbuemo, lost that flack-end keeper. I hope they stay up, getting Keith Andrews as their manager. I hope they stay up, but it looks dark. He has 2 years left on his deal. He signed a new deal earlier this year. Would have been nice if he ran it down, people. So, yeah, talks are continuing. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. And he's a leader. We need that, innit? So I'm not against this necessarily. Well, I'm not against it. Kepa to Arsenal. Here we go. Deal. This is what I thought we'd be speaking about this morning, to be fair, or afternoon. Deal for the Spanish goalkeeper to join Arsenal's new backup for David Raya. Arsenal activate 5 million clause from Chelsea and all documents are now sealed. One more addition for Arteta after Martin Zubimendi. Arsenal prepare new attack for Gyokeres. The Londoners are still... Mods, please make sure people are liking and subscribing. Are still looking at the Lions goal scorer. The Londoners have left the scene for a while, but are preparing a second bid in which they will get closer to the 80 million euros. Again, I've covered that, so I won't. This is said Liverpool have made an approach, people. This is coming out of Portugal. Liverpool have entered the race with Arsenal and Man United to sign Viktor Gyökeres. It's easy to link Liverpool, probably, if you're looking for a striker. Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool all need a forward. Gyökeres is undeniable, isn't it, really? I don't know how much they believe this, but it is what it is. The only one that benefits is not Liverpool, Arsenal, United, or Chelsea, or anyone who gets him. It's actually Sporting because they're doing the bidding war. I'm kind of checked out from the Gyokeres stuff until there's some significant developments because we've heard many a different bit and spin on this rumor. So we'll have to see, man. Moving on. Arsenal mess around. Benjamin Sesko and Viktor Gyökeres explain club's lack of transfer activity has provoked unrest among the fan base, but executives are working hard on deals behind the scenes. I'm trying to skip through the toss. Apparently around 700 million has already been spent between Premier League clubs, but none of it by Arsenal. It would be a mistake to equate Arsenal's lack of signings with a lack of effort or desire to strengthen. Yeah, where is what matters, though? What is going on behind the scenes? The first thing to note is that Arsenal are close to finalising 2 first-team signings. Supporters should expect official confirmation of Martin Zubimendi's arrival from Sociedad in a deal worth more than 50 million within the next few weeks. We're also in the process of getting Kepa. We know Liverpool chase Zubimendi. It's irrelevant now. Partey is cutting. It looks like we're getting Norgaard at this moment in time. Again, we know Real Madrid were fond of Zubamendi. Please, just get to what matters. With a new new midfielder and a backup goalkeeper effectively sorted, the most pressing priority for Berta has been the pursuit of a centre forward. Arsenal made clear their desire to land, or better yet, add another striker to their squad, having tried and failed to do so in the previous two transfer windows. But has been working on potential deals across the continent. This is where it gets complicated. The question that every supporter is asking: which striker do Arsenal want? The answer has so far remained a closely guarded secret, and for good reason. Telegraph Sport understands Burr is effectively working to price up different deals before Arsenal decide to pull the trigger and execute one of them. We all know Gyokeres and Sesko are the targets. Gyokeres is a Swedish goal machine, blah, blah, blah. There are important figures within Arsenal who have long championed Sesko, the younger option at 22. Berta, meanwhile, is known to be a huge admirer of Gyokeres, who turned 27 this month. Arsenal arguably cannot make a truly informed decision without knowing the cost of both players. Berta has therefore been working on the two deals simultaneously and trying to keep all parties sweet. It speaks volumes that German reports have repeatedly said Sesko is the preferred target, while Portuguese reports have said the same about Gyokeres. Spinning plates is not an easy task, however, and there's clearly a certain amount of risk involved in this strategy. A well-connected source in Germany confidently told Telegraph Sport, and we always hear a well-connected source, Sesko was absolutely the preferred candidate, but that same source roared back a few weeks ago by saying the situation had become, from his perspective, a mess. Now, he's just someone that's going on information. You don't even know if you know what you're talking about. This could be a decoy thing. It's also messy in Lisbon. We know the president has made a statement. We know Gyokeres' agent is said to be furious about a potential gentleman's agreement or going back on that. We know there's been insults and blackmail and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna lie, this guy's waffling. Like, just get to the main things. We know we've also been linked with Ollie Watkins. This is said we've also looked at João Pedro, as well as strengthening the number 9. Arsenal want to strengthen their attack by adding a new winger. Nico Williams is dead. If there's a deal to be done for Real Madrid forward Rodrigo, Arsenal would be keen to do it. The Brazilian international seen as one of Europe's most exciting wide players, and his future at Real Madrid is far from clear. A move for the 24-year-old, if Arsenal are encouraged to make an offer, would not be expected to happen until much later in the window. Another potential winger target could be Noni Madueke. Apparently, he is on Arsenal's radar, although the strength of their interest remains unclear. Yeah, we've gone about getting a midfielder. Apparently, PARTEY has interest from other clubs in Europe and Middle East, but may find a more lucrative contract in another league. Be interesting. Wanyeri and Miles Lewis-Skelly finalizing new contracts. We've heard Miles Lewis-Skelly's actually announced in. We know Tierney's gone. We know there's uncertainty over Jakub Kiwior and Zinchenko. Apparently, Arsenal are long-term admirers of Jarell Hatto. There's also rumors that Hatto's agent was in London. Now, there's many a club in London, and you could actually be like from Manchester or Liverpool, but you're just linking up in London to talk. So who knows in that regards, people. Inside Arsenal's summer transfer window, Mikel Arteta striker demand the main reservation over Gyokeres and when deals are expected to accelerate. And you know the saddest thing about this, yeah? I was actually in the process of making doing a little edited video around Zubamendi. Now I've got to do one around Norgaard as well. But again, let's try and skip through the toss, man. Like, bro, what is with these journalists and waffling, bro? 2 months of the window remain and the Gunners are not panicking. The sign of Zubamendi has been in place since Jan. We know where PARTEY's gone. We're looking at Norgaard, Kepa. What's this reservation around Mr. Gyokeres then? Like, what is the reservation around Gyokeres? Like and subscribe if you haven't. Sesko is not serious. Already asking for a release clause after one season. He can stay at Leipzig. Yeah, man, we're not getting mad. Okay. Let Arsenal get Gyokeres and Boniface's back up. Boniface is not as expensive as Sesko. I don't think we're going to see it. Apparently, Ekrem Kanura said Arsenal is intensifying its efforts to secure the signing of LEAO as it seeks to strengthen its attacking options during the current transfer window. What would you lot make of LEAO? I'm on it, but I don't think it's an exciting signing, but I don't think he's of a level that fans make out. DJ, I got a feeling Bacola might be a better signing than Rodrigo. Now, there's a lot of conflicting reports where Bacola is concerned. PSG don't want to sell him. He don't want to leave. Then you hear his advisors want him to leave and he wants to leave. And they're waiting to see if PSG soften their stance on his position. Let's see what's going on with Gyokeres. I don't care. Respectfully to the supporters club, I don't really care what the supporters club are saying. They're in with the club. They're not going to be impartial, much like everyone. Behind the scenes, Burr is busy at work. He arrived with new ideas and proposals. At least 5 signings are to be made in the summer, which insiders say will definitely be will be a packed one in terms of incomings. A new defender is part of that list, people. Norgaard, Zubimendi, welcome. Sesko, Gyokeres, one of you, welcome. Get me Rodrigo, and we're laughing. Apparently, Mikel Arteta wants a striker in before their pre-season tour of Singapore and Hong Kong, which they fly out for July the 19th. The position is front and center of the club's priority list. It's understood that it is the fee for the frontman, which will, to a degree, dictate their budget for other positions. Once the price for this position is secured, the other chips will fall into place, with left-wing options also to be reassessed, with the favoured Nico Williams on his way to Barcelona. Both Benjamin Sesko and Viktor Gyökeres have been strongly linked, but it's understood Sesko is the priority. Sources close to the club suggest Sporting Lisbon's keenness, I'm even like I can't read, to offload Gyokeres has become clearer by the day and arguably weakened their hand. Internally, there are also reservations over the 27-year-old because Portugal's Premier League is a totally different proposition to the Premier League. If certain men have scored goals at Arsenal, Gyokeres would, even though he scored 39 league goals last season, which is still more than Sesko. Not Boyan Sesko, though. Burr is said to have other striking options too, which he's in negotiations over. If a deal for Sesko Gyokeres is not to materialize, the prospect of a surprise name entering the frame is a possibility. The method aims to allow him and Arsenal, we've gone over that. You know, Edu used to zoom in on one target and it never used to bang. Sources say Leipzig are driving a hard bargain because they know all too well how desperate the Gunners are for a striker and the limited availability of a world-class frontman in football. I'm not going to lie, I want Gyokeres. I'm actually very bullish about Zubimendi and Sesko. Big up Magalhaes for his new deal. Lewis Skelly and the rest of them should follow. Kepa's expected to reply. Apparently, people, you know, everyone wants signings in early, but Ben White was signed on the 30th of July. Ramsdale, 20th of August. Gabriel Jesus, the 4th of July. Zinchenko, the same month. Rice and Timber, 14th and 15th of July. Calafiori, July. Marino, 27th. Yeah, less of the panic signings with Raheem Sterling. And yeah, be proactive in giving people new deals. In terms of outgoings, a number of fringe players have been earmarked for exit. They include Reece Nelson and Zinchenko, who both earn 100k a week. Flipping out. Kivio, Fabio Vieira, and Lokonga. Until the marquee names are through the door, the pressure remains on Arsenal. But with deliberate targets, patience, and key contract renewals in place, Berta and Co appear set for a decisive summer. Just make sure it works, innit? But yeah, we're still linked with apparently lining up a new and improved Viktor Gyökeres offer. We're set to increase our bid. Have we actually officially bidded? According to Abolo, we're ready to up our bid for Gyokeres as the London club lose hope of landing Sesko. Gyokeres too has made his situation clear to Sporting's camp after threatening the club with incoming strikes should the Sporting owner not respect his commitment. Gyokeres transfer saga continues, with Arsenal now willing to increase their transfer from 55 million euros to an amount closer to 80 million euros. The Gunners were after Leipzig Sesko, but the German club's valuation of the Serbian, Neil, get the country right. Serbian. Anywho, has dissuaded the London club. The pressure is building on Varandas after Gyokeres claimed that he would not show up at Sporting for pre-season. So we'll have to see, man. And there's just too many rumblings, man. Admittedly, it is a bit... I'm actually more happy to talk about Norgaard than the striker targets, because like, really and truly, we're being told the same things and they're just spinning things. Apparently, we've made a forward line our priority this summer, but also looking to strengthen our defence. But are surprised agents with just how many calls and meetings he set up this window. Bad boy, moving in silence, which is great. We did try to sign Howson. We were linked with Gurhey. We did try to get Manchester City's Victor Rice in January. We've also tracked Jarrell Hatto. Fair enough, bring him, man. And we never know with Saliba. The soundings are that Saliba is very happy and wants to stay, but Arsenal will not allow his contract to run down to potentially lose him on the cheap. Kanate is better. Go bother Liverpool. They also want strong cover and backup in defence because last season they were stretched. Kivio filled in well for Gabriel, but Arsenal have had interest in him from Italy, and there may be a chance to upgrade, which is what Berta may be doing with a string of discussions and talks over defenders. Kivio and Zinchenko, a bit harsh on Kivio, but it seems like their days are numbered. So at this point, we're seeing the same things. DiMarzio is saying Arsenal will sign Gyokeres because he wants to join Arsenal. Other clubs have tried to join the race, but he will go to Arsenal. He was their first choice target from the start, and now they have to find an agreement with Sporting. So already, people, we're seeing conflicting reports. May frustrate fans hoping for blockbuster striker signings, but the club is now walking a tightrope, compete enough to stay at the top level while avoiding sanctions and ensuring long-term solvency. I hear that, Matthew. But when you tell us the powder is dry and all this, you got to make it work. You know, rumors say Eric Ten Hag is still crying about Huijsen's goal standing. We've been linked with Martin Fernandez, who plays for Porto. If we're bothering Porto for anyone, big him up because he's decent. It needs to be Rodrigo Moura. Give them back Fabio Vieira and go and get him. But apparently Leverkusen are leading the race to sign this Porto fullback. Liverpool have been linked with him previously. City, Napoli and Arsenal have all been linked. According to this report, we've been keeping tabs on his development. Naturally, because you'd imagine the scout's been following Fabio Vieira's development, so we should have. So that's what's being said there. Obviously, Leverkusen need a replacement for Frimpong. Romano has said Arsenal love Rodrigo. They consider him as a fantastic player, a dream target as a winger. Also, because they feel Nico Williams is impossible to reach this summer, Rodrigo remains a strong name in their list at Arsenal for sure. Rodrigo is getting closer to leaving Real Madrid and is now exploring Premier League options with confirmed interest from clubs like Arsenal, according to sources close to the player. We are understood to have taken significant strides towards a potential blockbuster signing, with sources informing Football Transfers that Arsenal have held positive discussions regarding a transfer fee for Rodrigo. What is that? He's apparently our priority. But hey, what is it though? Sources close to the deal say Arsenal prepared to make Rodrigo one of the highest earners at the club. You have to be prepared to do that to bring him. As Mikel Arteta seeks to add elite level flair to his attack ahead of the season, which they want to compete on all fronts. Fair play. They've also been made aware that Paulo Javier, an Arsenal scout who formerly worked for Real Madrid, has held conversations with Eric Gomez, his father and agent. Okay. While formal negotiations with Rodrigo's camp have yet to begin, which is how you get this moving, insiders say Arsenal are ready to start talks as soon as the player returns from the Club World Cup. The understanding is that Real Madrid will not stand in Rodrigo's way if he expresses a desire to leave, with Endrick and Arda Güler also coming into prominence under Xabi Alonso, and they've just bought another wonder kid. Arsenal's recruitment hierarchy, led by Berta, are said to be increasingly concerned about the shrinking pool of top-tier wide forwards available. With Williams off the table and other targets like Bradley Barcola and Rafa Leao priced out or unavailable, the Gunners view Rodrigo as a rare opportunity to secure a Champions League proven winger in his prime, which is true. But if you can't get Rodrigo, something needs to arrive. Although a deal is still at an early stage, all signs point towards a major summer push from Arsenal. The full package to land Rodrigo will cost more than 100 million euros, but Arsenal have found out with Declan Rice this is the price to pay for a transformative player nowadays. Can't disagree with that, if I'm honest. Apparently, Alexander Isak has received an offer for a record deal as the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, Barcelona circle around the international foot. You know what? I respect it. I respect anybody that is still linking Arsenal with Isak. You're trying to get as much lemon juice out of that lemon. It's a myth for us. Newcastle naturally are going to be desperate. They're going to offer him a big deal. Ironically, Anthony Gordon's linked with us as well. Liverpool are preparing a massive offer. It must be great being a Liverpool fan, innit? Just every minute you're signing a player. Arsenal are reportedly playing a game of chicken with Leipzig as they look to finalize a deal to bring in Sesko, people. Everyone's kind of saying the same thing. Apparently, we're 10 million euros short of what they want. We're hoping to finalize an agreement of just over 70 million euros. They're eager to go for the Slovenian internationals, 80 million. So we'll have to see. And Ollie Watkins is still being linked with a move. Martinelli is happy and the club expecting to stay. However, if an attractive buyer came in for Martinelli at an appropriate price, especially one which enabled Arsenal to land some of their top targets, then Arsenal's position could shift, as we've seen already. Kudus apparently has changed agents. He's been linked with many a club, including us. Newcastle, Chelsea, and Arsenal have all been linked. Probably should have got him when he was at Ajax. We've been linked with Jadon Sancho. Is there any takers? Easy to link us with, as I said, the Rodrigos, the LEAOs, the Nico Williams, you know, the emerging talents. And then Sancho, Rashford, Madueke, them kind of ones there. Is what it is, man. Desperate, man. To be fair, the game's the game, Foxy. They're just trying to get paid, man. Is that, I think next summer he's off because I think Barca are going to be on to him, but he's not going nowhere. But they're trying to get engagement in it. What has Charles Watt said? I'm not overly surprised that we've seen fresh links between Hato and Arsenal, as he's a player they've been following for a long time. If he does leave Ajax this summer, then I would expect Arsenal to be involved in the conversation at the very least, given the amount of time they have been keeping tabs on his development at Ajax. Completely off topic, yeah, but apparently I saw on Twitter, Rob Holding's only played 12 games since he's left Arsenal. I don't know why that's come to mind. Fair enough. I don't know why. I actually don't know why that just sprung to mind, people. Sorry, I'm off topic now. ADHD is moving mad. I'm not sure how things have moved on with him. I've seen suggestions that there are talks happening with his agent in London this week, but I can't confirm that at this stage. But as I said, it wouldn't surprise me, and I do think there's space for him at the club, even with the strong options Mikel Arteta has available in defence right now. Tini is gone. There's a chance Zinchenko could follow, with AC Milan believed to be interested, and now Fulham also a possibility. He's also been linked with West Ham, Ajax, Borussia Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, and a move to the Middle East. Pardon me, that would open up their space regardless, because we can't bet on Tommy's fitness. Love Calafiori, can't bet on his fitness. Kivio, I want you to stay, but it wouldn't surprise me if you say, you know what, Gaffer, I want to go get more first team football. Pardon me, Zini needs to go. Our defensive options are not as strong as we might be led to believe. Anything goes left around Calafiori's fitness, Miles Lewis Skelly's fitness, you might have to put Timber left back. And then what if them things there happen? Timber goes left back, but Ben White ain't fit. Stuff we've seen play parts, people. So yeah, man, it depends. Some rumors say there's talks with Arsenal and Chelsea in London over Hato. Some are wider the mark. I can't say I've heard anything to suggest Garnacho is a realistic target for Arsenal. We know we want a winger. Sorry, Charles Watts, but we have to skip through bare of this, man. They just bear waffle. Mohamed Kudus is one who is a player Arsenal did look at extensively when he was at Ajax before he moved to West Ham. He's just switched agents, which obviously is a sign he's going to move on. He's got an 85 million release clause. It's not going to be paid. It feels, based on rumors, West Ham are the most I've seen them open to getting rid of Mr. Kudus, people. But he has a release clause of 85 million. Bradley Barcola is a player that several of Europe's top clubs, including Arsenal, understood to be tracking. PSG are not believed to be interested in letting him leave, so that looks like a non-starter. Again, I don't want to see the name Nico Williams, man. Don't worry, because you're gonna butt Barcelona. We're gonna butt Barcelona. Timber's gonna deal with you, and I'm not gonna go over that. We've been linked with Norgaard and Lucien Agomi as a Partey replacement. Now, fair enough, the news has just come out, but apparently Partey's situation at Arsenal remains open. My information at the time of writing is that a final decision has not yet been taken and the contract talks have not completely ended. Obviously, the longer this drags on without there being a breakthrough, then the likelihood increases that Partey will move on as a free agent this summer. But as far as I'm aware, we are not at that stage just yet. So there could still be a breakthrough in discussions, but that would need to happen quickly because both sides want clarity on the situation. If Partey does end up leaving, then Arsenal would have to go into the market to bring in another midfielder. Make sure you're smashing the like button. 4 p.m. I'm with Kenny Ken as well, people. We've gone over that. I'm so excited to tell you that we're not going to sell Martinelli. Romano has said, despite Bayern and Premier League interest, PSG considers him untouchable, and there's rumors of a new deal around Barcola, people. Again, Chris Wheatley has said that Hato's camp have been in London. Talks have taken place in recent days between Arsenal and Hato's camp. Chelsea also keen on getting the Dutch youngster. We've gone over Kepa, Zubamendi and all them, and there at this point. But apparently Arsenal pulled the plug and are not planning on selling Martinelli this summer. I wonder if 50 million or more makes them rethink stuff. Spurs seem that they're going to get Eze. Apparently Dangerous Star pushing to join Spurs after Arsenal talks. Is the headline going to correlate? Because have Arsenal factually held talks? He's got a 68 million release clause. Spurs are doing player plus cash. United, Newcastle, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Bayern are all interested. Okay, all these clubs are interested. Have they made offers? TBR reported he wants to join Spurs. The reporters claim that one of Frank's top targets is now eager to join him. I mean, we should be going in for Eze. The entourage are working hard and are talking to numerous suitors, including Arsenal, Aston Villa, and Manchester United. The playmaker wants to join Spurs, with Spurs also confident they'll be able to secure his prize signature. Fair enough, if that's what you believe. That's what you was referring to, innit? It's a cold t-shirt, though. They're rapidly outing it. It is cold. Lyon have been demoted. They can appeal it, yeah, but there's several players who could be available for cut price fee. There's 2 players here. I might even do videos on them. Thiago Almanda, Malik Fofana. Them 2. Can we do something? I can't pronounce this lad's name, but he's techie as well. Not for me. Shout large up Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Thiago Almanda and Malik Fofana, they're worth a try. You know, I might make a video around wildcards. Once again, Norgaard is keen to move to Arsenal because he wants to play in the Champions League. Remember, did I not say this yesterday? Yeah, if you pre-Barcelona, Noah Dovic, you know, I think he was at Cologne. I've seen him playing the under-17s tournaments and now the under-19s. Did I not say 24 to 48 hours ago? Some of you lot were there. If I was a club, he's not getting a look in under Hansi Flick. Buy him. It seems like Stuttgart are doing exactly that. That's a market opportunity that you could do while you're trying to do the right now things, if that makes sense. What's LEAO said here? 2-word transfer hint in new message. I bet it doesn't correlate. What has he said? Arsenal plan to sign him as a replacement for Martinelli. So he's not seen as an upgrade on Martinelli. We're coming. Okay. They done us dirty there with that one, innit? They done us extremely dirty there. Steve Bold is set for a role at QPR, defensive coach. Big up Boldy, man. My guy. Liverpool have joined the race for Gyokeres, as it's been said here. He wants to leave this summer. They might not have, for all we know. I believe Portsmouth have been linked with Carl Hine, whose days are probably numbered at the football club, people. So we'll have to see how them things there develop. That ends the transfer news part of this live stream, though. Sorry, folks. I was just aware there was a lot to cover, and I'm aware that people watch these things on the replay. And I do cut up the clips as well. So I didn't want to ruin it, man. DG watch England versus Netherlands under 21s. We can see how Hattle's playing. I will be watching it, and I'll be watching the under 19s final. I think that's tomorrow. Thiago Armando Malik Fifano for the future. You know I can't say his name. Kobenli, Enzo Melembi, Thiago Gonalves, that's who you target from Lyon. Got to be watching these guys, man. Got to be watching them. You know what? Let's scroll all the way because I was boying a couple of you going through that stuff. We don't need Watkins, bro. He's 30 plus. He's an unk. We don't need any more unks. Give Rodrigo 300k if Havertz takes almost 300k. Got to get some. I mean, there should be wages to offer if you get rid of Zinni, who's on 100 bags, Nelson, who's on 100 bags, Partey 200 odd, he's cutting, Tierney was on 100 bags, he's gone, Jorginho was probably on something decent, and then all the others, you're not going to sell everybody, but all the others, you know, you get rid of my man that's on 30, my man that's on 50, this one's earning 70, it starts adding up, and you put that towards the Miles Lewis Skellies, the Wanyeris, the Salibas, the Sakas, the Dons with new deals. This is going to be a dire transfer window. Tell your man, Watkins and Rodgers from Villa double swoop. Then Eze from Palace. Eze and Rodgers can play left. Both players can play box to box. Watkins main striker with Havertz backup, Norgaard and Zubi. It's going to be too expensive, man. Like, to be fair, Lacazette was leaving anyways, Dan. He was cutting. Yeah, Arsenal's making me rage quit every day. We're getting new rumours, but nothing is getting confirmed. I hear it, man. Sesko changed nationality. Mitrovic must be fluent. Not everyone's going to get that. Arsenal aren't building the best squad possible. They're building the best squad financially sustainable under PSR. That's it. Boy, Rodgers is a baller, but, you know, these kind of, you're going to have to overpay. And if you're not going to front up the cash, then it's a non-starter for me, if I'm honest with you. If we can't get Rodrigo, let's get Rafa Leao and Martinelli upgrade. I hear it, but I must admit, Rafa Leao and Martinelli, they, whether one's better or not, they've got the same old issues. Consistency. Leao just needs polish. He has all the tools. Exactly. But we have a lot of those kind of guys, man. Sesko looking at Arsenal as a stepping stone club with a release clause disrespectful. You know what? I don't really care about that because I understand I'm not tribal and Arsenal and all of that. End of the day, every club's a stepping stone club, unless you're Real Madrid, historically Barcelona, etc. And I like when I look into Sesko's mentality and he reads books and do all of this kind of stuff. He seems quite stoic. I like that you're planning the medium, short, and long term. If you have in your mind, I'm going to go Arsenal, bad it up, win stuff, and go Real Madrid one day, it is what it is. Obviously, Thierry Henry didn't win the champs, but he achieved domestically all he could at Arsenal. Trent won all he could at Real Madrid, at Liverpool. Still wanted to go to Real Madrid. You've got one career, you got one life. You didn't grow up an Arsenal fan. You're not English. All of that. It's a job. It's a job. I understand that. Go do that if you want to do that. But fuck your release clause, unless it's something stupid. Fuck your release clause. Go do the business, and we'll shot you. And even that. Obviously, Arsenal have to know that if Sesko develops like how it is in Football Manager or how fans think, then that's got to be something. Why would you care about how good he can be in 5 years? Obviously, there's on one hand, I don't quite agree with it, but some fans would exaggerate and say he could be here for a decade, right? Not going to happen. But if you're talking about, yeah, in the next 2 years, he could be this and that, you're knowing that he can achieve things here. And there might come a time where you could sell him for a ridiculous fee. Big up Matthew, when he made that comment about PSR and financials and all that, it ties into that. So they know that could happen. But pardon my language, fuck your release clause. If you do the job, you got nothing to worry about. If because the rumors are he wants to play for Real Madrid one day. If you do the business and these clubs come for you, let them talk to us. Unless it's a ridiculous asking price where you're getting bread anyways. Bacola don't appear for sales. I don't see Liverpool spending 300 million in a single transfer window. We're getting Gyokeres for sure. You never know. Because some reports say, in theory, they could spend another 200 million and have no PSR issues. Whether they do that is another thing. Obviously, there's probably a 1-2 sales there going to happen at Liverpool. If it hasn't happened already, they're going to get a decent fee for Darwin Núñez. They might get rid of a Jota or a Luis Diaz because it seems a bit clouded there. Aren't they getting 30, 40 million for what's his name? Kwanzaa, and there's probably some names that I'm missing out on, man. It is what it is. But yeah, man, just you can do all of that. But make sure you do your business on the field. Obviously, when you do see that around Sesko, and you know, based on reports, Gyokeres is begging to join us, it adds fuel to the fire of bringing my man. Until man are on Arsenal.com, all Fugazi, exactly. 333 inside. It's free. Get DG 170, 180 likes. It's free. To everyone who's hit the like button already, God bless you. Large up yourselves. 153 of you. There's 285 of you who are here. Some of you are pagans still. You think Arsenal are going to sign a striker if you don't hit the like button, boy. And if you're a pagan fan, your team's not getting Champions League football unless you hit that like button, man. So yeah, it's techie. It's techie. It's techie. It's techie. Damsgaard is the one they should get. Rather NOOGARD. Our midfield will be full of sideways passes. And that's why I thought maybe with Partey going, could it present an issue to or an opportunity to get someone with a different profile? Partey's already gone, confirmed by Fab. Chelsea have signed Liam Delap. Yeah, but I reckon he's not going to be their main guy if it's up to them, because they were still linked with Eberechi and whatnot. Not saying he's not a good player. I just think they're going to have Liam Delap, and the next one, you lot share the burden. But then they do have Nicholas Jackson, who apparently they could sell. Nice to see us making contingency plans rather than reacting. Lokonga's still coming back. He needs to cut. LEAO doesn't track back. He doesn't suit Arsenal. Make him track back. Or, I know LEAO's not Salah, but we all saw the Arne Slot stuff with Salah. I do think some fans, it is without logic, but I think some fans are too fixated on this. This player is not like for like, doesn't necessarily fit the system, where you've seen Luis Enrique bend certain players to his will in that regard. Why I mess with LEAO is because it seems no matter the tactics, he's going to beat his man. Don't think the manager's tactics will get in his head like I feel Martinelli did. Nelly overthinks everything. I hear that, but you're going to have to listen to the manager's tactics. He's telling you to do things rightly or wrongly, or you're not going to find your way in the team. And to be fair, I do think Arteta needs to pattern up in the final third, but how many times is any of these players that rely on instinct and can do magical things over a 38-game period, how many times realistically is that going to happen? So can we take LEAO for what he is, what you're suggesting he is, and I don't think you're wrong, marry that with, might not be the greatest defender, but all the other aspects? We're laughing then, innit? In theory. So it'd be interesting, man. You don't pay 200k to play 10 games. You should see some of the players on big wages that that thingy, man, that play such. Your mods can't ignore rival opinions even if you tried. Yeah, it's tired for Jamaica, man. Our World Cup dream's over, but I don't want to talk about Jamaica, man. How comes fans can't or won't understand that July is important for PSR isn't about how much, but installments? It's true, but I do think there's an element of peddling out that propaganda, because we have made signings early, but I always say I'll shut my mouth until September the 1st, but every day that passes, you're going to have an opinion. Jesus and Tomiyasu continue to cause financial burden on Arsenal's wage bill. They done it to themselves. No one told you to put them on them wages, dear. And to be fair, Tomiyasu, you need to, both of them really need to stay fit. But I got time for Tommy. You got one more year, bro. Because again, I can rate you in the squad, rate what you bring, but you need to be available, man. We all like new toys, but let's be real. LEAO ain't that guy. He's not an improvement on Martinelli. This LEAO tracking back talk is stupid. Nelly tracks back on our left-hand side is still ish. You need good players on the pitch. F tracking back. You can't F tracking back, but I hear it. Nah, man, we ain't swapping Diaz for any Arsenal attackers other than Saka. I'm not sure what happened there with Diaz. I'd swap Martinelli for Diaz. Nah, it seems like Liverpool. I'm not here to debate if Martinelli or Diaz is better, but when I see Liverpool fans, it's like they have an extreme air of frustration over Diaz. Very good player. Boy. DG, what are you saying about the NOOGARD? Oh, I've already gone over that, my dude. Appreciate you. Question. I worry that this Rodrigo situation drags throughout the summer and we end up with not so good options for the left wing position. If Rodrigo doesn't join us, smash the like button, people. You know what? Rodrigo can be your dream target, but from now, have all the willingness. Okay, it's going to drag out. After the Club World Cup, we're playing it by ear, seeing how it's going to go. By all means, go for that. But you need to have a realistic option. Simultaneously, kind of like what we hear apparently around Sesko, you need to, it might not be as glamorous. And if the pursuit fails, obviously it's underwhelming, but you need to have a more realistic target. If it happens and it pops, great. If it don't, Diaz would cook at Arsenal. Diaz a quality player, but frustrating. I've got Liverpool supporting friends. They always get frustrated with him when he turns up for Colombia. We need players we can bet on. He might be an upgrade, but there's bare guys that are upgrades in a lot of positions that we at Arsenal could sign, but they might not necessarily be the answer. The Kroenke model, every signing must be cost justified. Boy. Offer resale potential. I do think there's numerous signings, whether they've been brought in for big money, less money, or whatever, that haven't adhered to that, man. Resale value or clear critical need. Berta is personally brought in by Josh Kroenke as part of strategic shift in recruitment. Unfortunately, I genuinely believe the higher powers that be that really control our club, they would like to win. It's a business thing first. So we just need to control the controllables, man. But yeah, man. I ain't want to Tomiyasu, forgotten how good he is. Can't blame people for forgetting how good he is, man. He ain't been about. Appreciate you, Pat. Rodrigo may be a great player, but financially the move makes little sense for Arsenal. His likely transfer fee would be around 80 to 90 million, wages likely over 220k a week. Well, I understand being financially prudent, being in line with your, PSR, but do you want to win on the balance sheet or do you want sporting success? What was the point of all that groundwork for Sesko? He doesn't look any closer than he was last year. But yeah, I wouldn't take Sesko's word for gospel in 2022. It'd be very different next year now that he's asserted himself. I don't quite believe that. DG, haven't we kind of been a stepping stone in bro? It is what it is. We made ourselves a stepping stone in the Emirates because we weren't on winning. Any chance you can break down or get a guess who can break down the ins and outs of this July 1st scenario, help fans understand why we're waiting and others ain't? You need to get someone that actually works for the club from the horse's mouth, if I'm honest. So, boy, DG, we need new owners and the Kroenke should sell. They're not going to. To be fair, yeah, I see NBA fans. I don't know what club the Kroenkes own. Is it Denver Nuggets? They're onto them as well, man. So, yeah, Clive would be great. Big up Clive, man. Got to get him up back on the platform. Big him up, man. The approach is to make Arsenal not overspend to compete. They'll outsmart much instead. That's the new direction. Okay. LEAO taking on his man is not enough in 2025. So much of it, 26, and hasn't progressed enough last year. Pulisic has been more important than LEAO these last 2 years, which tells me everything. I'm doing good, Junior Films, man. Hope you and everybody is doing great as well, man. So, yeah, don't forget as well, people, 4 p.m. I'm going to have Kenny Ken in the building. I'm sure we'll go over a lot of things that we've spoken about here. And it's a chance for me to ask some questions and entertain you lot and actually just shut up. But because we've been here for 90 minutes, I don't want to overstay my welcome, and I'm sure you lot have things to do. So I'm gonna love and leave you lot. To answer this, we're going to bring in a left winger, bro. Like, we're going to bring in a left winger, regardless of the outgoings. I'm not saying they're going to be the answer. We're going to bring one in. There is an element of selling. I don't know where they're at with Trossard and Martinelli. We're going to sign a left winger. But it all depends though, because they might say, oh, Jesus is going to be fit. So, yeah, and even with all of them options you're talking about, respectfully, you don't support our football club. How did last season pan out? These options were there that year, more or less. These same options were there when Martinelli had that standout season. Obviously, the season starts in August and it ends in May. Who did we try? We didn't sign them. Who did we sign in January? Who did we put big money down? Have we got the bodies? 3-4 occasions last year. Arteta said we got one of the smallest squads. They were all here. He's echoed that now. He's echoed that in some of his comments after. So, yeah, man. Yeah. Arsenal are buying, but Arsenal are buying all the guards. What waffle is this? LEAO actually won the league at Milan. Pulisic ain't the guy. Where's that? At this moment, there's still no official from Arsenal and any other clubs. There you have it. I hear you, Matthew. No, I'm not saying that's you, but this is where the only way Arsenal are going to win stuff, obviously indirectly, it's going to be on the owners, but Arteta has to get everything right. The players have to get everything right. Berta has to get everything right. We're a business first, football club second, which I am against. But I'm not against being a business. But it is what it is, man. No expectations, no disappointments. But highs, lows, Arsenal through and through, man. How can you say Berta's looking sus? How's he looking sus? So, yeah, man. On that note, though, people, I'm going to see you lot at 4 p.m. Appreciate you lot talking, engaging, the silent listeners. Those of you that are going to watch this on a replay, I'll cut up the transfer a bit. Timestamps will go in as soon as we're done here. You lot enjoy your Wednesday, innit? Appreciative to the support. Our pursuit of 70k is still alive and kicking, man. So you lot stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.
Always just like,